I stood in the shadows of his apartment hallway, heart pounding like a war drum, when I heard him laugh and say it. "She's nothing, man. Just a placeholder till something better comes along." Those words sliced through me, sharper than any knife, leaving me frozen as his friends chuckled along. I was supposed to surprise him that night, flowers in hand, but instead, I slipped away into the rain-soaked streets of Chicago, tears mixing with the downpour. My name's Emily, and back then, I was 25, working a dead-end job at a coffee shop, pouring lattes for people who barely noticed me. Jake was my everything tall, charming, with that easy smile that made my knees weak. We met at a bar downtown, his eyes locking onto mine across the crowded room, pulling me in like a moth to flame. For 2 years, I gave him my all. Late nights waiting up, scraping together cash for his dreams, ignoring the red flags that flickered in the dark corners of our life. But that night, everything shattered. I drove home in a blur, windshield wipers slapping like accusations. How could he? I replayed the scene. His voice casual, cruel, dismissing me like yesterday's trash. By morning, rage bubbled up, hot and unrelenting. I packed his stuff from my tiny apartment, dumped it on his doorstep with a note. "Nothing says goodbye." He called, texted, begged. "Babe, it was a joke." But I blocked him, the silence echoing louder than his lies. Days turned to weeks of agony. I stared at my reflection in the cracked bathroom mirror, seeing a girl who'd lost herself in him. Hollow eyes, slumped shoulders. Was this who I'd become? Curiosity gnawed. What did his friends really think? I created a fake profile, scrolled through their group chats leaked online. There it was, more venom. Emily's clueless. Jake's got options. My stomach twisted. How deep did this rot go? I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Nightmares haunted me, Jake's face morphing into mockery, crowds pointing and laughing. But in the quiet hours before dawn, a spark ignited. Why be nothing when I could be everything? I quit the coffee shop, enrolled in night classes for graphic design, something I'd always dreamed of but shelved for him. Mornings, I hit the gym, muscles burning as sweat washed away the hurt. Each rep was a promise. I'd rise from these ashes. Months flew by in a whirlwind. I landed freelance gigs, my portfolio blooming with vibrant designs that caught eyes online. Followers trickled in on my Instagram, first dozens, then hundreds. I posted my journey. Raw, unfiltered selfies of late-night sketches, captions about rebuilding from betrayal. People connected, shared their stories. Tension built inside me. Would Jake notice? Part of me hoped he would. The darker part craved it. One evening, scrolling through my feed, I saw him. Jake's profile, still flashy, boasting about his sales job, parties, new girls on his arm. But cracks showed. Complaints about work stress, vague posts about fake people. Curiosity pulled me deeper. I dug into his company's reviews. Anonymous whispers of shady deals, corner cutting. Was he involved? My heart raced. I messaged an old mutual friend, casual-like. "Heard Jake's killing it at work?" The reply chilled me. "Not really. Rumors he's faking numbers to hit quotas." The puzzle pieces clicked. Jake had always bragged about his hustle, but now I saw the fraud. I anonymous tipped his boss with screenshots from those leaked chats. Not just personal jabs, but hints of him boasting about inflating sales. Was it revenge? Maybe, but it felt like justice, a mirror to his deceit. Days later, whispers online. Jake suspended, investigation pending. Tension skyrocketed. Would he connect it to me? I kept building. My designs went viral when a small brand hired me for their campaign. Money flowed in, enough for a better apartment overlooking the lake, waves crashing like my renewed spirit. Friends noticed the change. "Emily, you're glowing." But inside, shadows lingered. Late nights, I'd wonder if karma was real, if he'd suffer like I did. Then, A message pinged from an unknown number. "You ruined me." It was him. My pulse thundered. How did he know? He called next, voice ragged. "Emily, please. I lost my job. Friends ditched me after those chats leaked." I pictured him alone in that same apartment, walls closing in. Curiosity burned. What else had fallen? My new girl left when she heard the stories. I'm broke, crashing on couches. His words dripped desperation, but I felt no pity, only a cold satisfaction. "You called me nothing," I whispered before hanging up. Word spread fast in our circles. His reputation tanked, labeled a liar, a user. Job offers dried up. He applied everywhere, got ghosted. I heard through the grapevine he moved back with his parents in the suburbs, driving for ride shares, eyes hollow like mine once were. Meanwhile, my life soared. I launched my own design studio, clients lining up. A TEDx talk invite came me, sharing my story of self-growth from rock bottom. The audience hung on every word, applause thundering like vindication. But the real twist came a year later. I was at a networking event, champagne in hand, when I spotted him across the room. Jake, serving trays, uniform crisp but face gaunt. Our eyes met, his widened in shock, mine steady. He approached, trembling. "Emily, you look amazing." Tension hung thick, air electric. Would he beg? Apologize? "I'm sorry," he muttered. "I was wrong. You were everything." I smiled, soft but steel-edged. "I know." Walking away, heels clicking on marble, I felt the weight lift. He'd lost his job, friends, pride, everything he'd built on sand. Me? I'd grown roots deep, branches reaching skyward. Karma didn't just hit, it transformed. As I stepped into the night, city lights twinkling like stars aligned, I whispered to myself, "Who's nothing now?" That moment replayed in my mind, a cinematic close to our twisted tale. Pain had forged me, betrayal fueled my fire. Viewers, if you've been called nothing, remember, the comeback is your script. Rise, rebuild, and watch the world shift. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet echo of a life reclaimed,